Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and today we're taking a good look at the UNSC Firebases, older tactical options of a bygone era of the UNSC operating procedures, but still powerful and interesting to examine nonetheless. The UNSC developed modular firebases due to lessons learned in the early days of the Human Covenant War, in which large UNSC military installations proved vulnerable to orbital bombardment. The Firebase combines the needs of a tactical communications, a command center, and expansion into both a barracks and production facility capable of assembling combat vehicles. The Firebase unit itself is a variant of the old colony starter units constructed out of polycrete and powered by small hydrogen reactors. A colony starter unit is a structure capable of being deployed by UNSC colonization teams during the build-up of initial settlements on a planet's surface. Because gaining a foothold quickly was key to fighting insurrectionists throughout the colonies, ships can directly deploy the entire assembly unit of a firebase via large dropships, such as the D-20 Heron or the D-81 LRT Condor, making it immediately useful. This ability proved invaluable in the ongoing war with the Covenant, and was often considered a key advantage of the UNSC on the ground. Pod firebases are deployed from orbit via the use of D-20 Heron transport craft. Firebases are capable of producing unarmed warthogs along with special units for the selected leader, and were used to great effect in the Human Covenant War, including the Harvest campaign, in which one served as the core of Alpha Base, the battle for Arcadia and the Battle of Entren Harbridge. Although starting out frail, the structural strength of the command center is increased with the addition of each new Firebase module, making it a good idea to erect multiple Firebase modules as soon as possible. Beneath the Firebase is a large underground garage in which resources and vehicle parts dropped down from orbiting warships may be stored. Also, all Firebase additions, such as reactors or supply pads, emerge up from this subterranean area, pre-built and fully constructed. Firebases also have self-destruct sequences and lockdown protocols, the latter of which can be used to deliberately trap one's own newly trained forces inside of the compound. Firebases have two upgrades, Station and Fortress. The Station is an upgraded version of the Firebase, retaining the command center but adding two more additional building sites, for a total of 5 and 4 turret foundations. The Fortress upgrade allows 2 other building sites, totaling 7 building sites, and the same 4 turret sites from the Station. It also features a self-destruct sequence, allowing it to destroy itself for other allies to make a base in its spot and damage enemy units nearby. The building sites can be occupied by the following purpose-built structures. Supply pads take the form of landing pad structures that allow D-82 EST darters to land and deposit large crates of supplies. These pads are serviced by robotic cranes, which move the supply onto a conveyor belt wherein it is lowered into the Firebase underground assembly and storage areas. Supply pads allow the Firebase to receive a constant flow of supplies from orbiting support vessels such as the UNSC Spirit of Fire. These are vital logistical ports for UNSC combat operations, and the Force Commander carefully weigh the costs of delaying their construction. To sustain high-tempo missions, supply pads can be upgraded to the Heavy Supply Pad, which accelerates supply generation by adding an additional landing pad to double supply intake. The supplies handled by the UNSC supply pad networks cover everything from medical kits to full-sized Warthog engines, food, ammunition, spare parts, and power cells. The crew of a well-run supply pad knows that a working pad means a working base. Prefabricated firebases contain a fusion reactor powered by reactions between hydrogen isotopes. The reactor allows a UNSC firebase to operate very sophisticated systems. These reactors are modular, allowing for quick setup. In order to meet the firebase's power requirements, the reactor has the ability to place an additional power unit on the other socket present on the base of the structure. These reactors are only employed on the older pod firebases, as more modern firebase designs are capable of only relying on generators to meet their power requirements. The generator is an innovation of the original fusion reactor and serves as a replacement for the UNSC reactor. The generator provides power to upgrade units and tiers, unlike reactors which unlock prerequisites to research new tech. The generator creates energy in more natural ways, such as wind and solar power, instead of harvesting power directly from the arc. Each firebase has an integral power plant to meet immediate needs, but additional generators are needed for the accumulation of power used for unit assembly and purchase of upgrades. These advanced generator upgrades significantly improves power output. The older pod bases deployed by the UNSC Spirit of Fire used hydrogen-burning reactors for power, which requires expensive and bulky fuel storage and safety systems. However, new Firebase structures require far less power to function compared to the legacy designs, allowing Isabel to adapt modern UNSC vertical axis turbines as a more sustainable replacement. A vehicle depot contains the heavy equipment and crew to assemble vehicle kits. Hydraulic cranes serve as the muscle to move everything from Cobra chassis, Scorpion armour plates, and the impressive selection of weaponry that these vehicles can bring to bear. The parts may take a while to arrive, but when the engine from a new Scorpion fires up in the vehicle depot, the rumble is felt across all of the base. By the time of the Second Arc conflict, the vehicle depot's function appeared to have been largely subsumed by the UNSC garage structure. The garage is a structure employed by the UNSC as a building on their firebases. Garages are capable of manufacturing M808S Scorpions, M850 Grizzly tanks, M12 chain-gun Warthogs, M9 Wolverines, and M400 Kodiaks, alongside Mantis and Hrunting Yggdrasil Mark II Colossus mechs. To construct vehicles, the garage assembles partially disassembled parts transported down from the UNSC Spirit of Fire, as opposed to assembling vehicles from scratch. The garage also features vehicle research to strengthen vehicles. The UNSC Field Armory is a cross between a machine and fabrication shop and a research laboratory. This is where most advanced technology for the UNSC is created by dedicated engineers and scientists. The Field Armory allows upgrades in 5 areas. One upgrade reduces the amount of time needed to requisition combat units. Another increases the actual population capacity by 10 units via advanced optimizations. 2 turret upgrades available sequentially replace the standard M202 turret with larger multi-barreled configurations, visually similar to twin or quad .50s. A 4th upgrade gives a significant boost to all infantry types' running speeds. The last upgrades available for purchase are 3 sequential improvements to the selected situational specific powers, adding up to 3 additional Mach gun shots for Captain Cutter, nearly quadrupling the number of bombs and target area of Sergeant Forge's carpet bomb, and improving Professor Anders' cryobomb, significantly lengthening its effect and knocking more aircraft out of the sky during the initial freeze. The UNSC Armory came to replace the Field Armory. Armory structures contain advanced manufacturing modules and electronic support measures that unlock structure, training, time, and population capacity upgrades. Construction of an armory allows the requisition of UNSC Spartans and operatives to the battlefield, as well as deployment of the Condor gunship. These are key facilities for the UNSC Field Commander, though their full potential is only unlocked once sufficient resources are available. The armory contains specialized machinery and robotic assemblers needed to support the logistical upgrades Isabel has added to the UNSC Spirit of Fire, as well as additional communication and sensor systems to expand the Force Commander's options when assembling battle groups. Air superiority can be of vital importance, for example, not only for intelligence gathering but also for tactical strikes at your enemy's weak points. The UNSC Airpad is a surprisingly sophisticated structure that not only houses the maintenance crews required to refit, repair and rearm Hornets and other UNSC aircraft, it also houses banks of simulation pods to train pilots in everything from basics to advanced tactical maneuvers. Airpads also support the Force Commander with sensor feeds and intelligence uplinks which allow for proper battle space deconfliction, kill chain assignment and other aerospace management tasks. For infantry, there is no UNSC Academy. The barracks is a rustic shack compared to the comforts of real training centres, but then again, a Marine in the field isn't generally thinking about creature comforts. They make you soft. The barracks simply houses the raw recruits and equipment needed to field squads of UNSC Marines. A quick briefing, visit to the armory, and you've got your boots on the ground. Infantry shipped down from the Spirit of Fire muster in Firebase barracks. The barracks allows the requisition of Hellbringers, Cyclops, Snipers, Marines and ODSTs and unlock their upgraded options. Army and Marine Corps troopers are detached or chopped from their parent unit aboard the Spirit of Fire and deployed to reinforce key firebases on the Ark surface, replacing injured personnel who are then medevaced out of the combat zone. While awaiting assignment to a fire team, the new blood acclimate and review tactical situation reports in the barracks, which doubles as a recreational area and mess hall during lulls in battle. The Watchtower is an automated structure used by the UNSC to defend firebases by detecting cloaked enemies. Additional watchtowers extends the cloak detection range, and each watchtower occupies a turret slot. The multimodal stealth and jamming systems employed by the Covenant and Banished are a significant strategic challenge for the UNSC. Though improvements have been made, there is still a significant capability gap in detection range versus cloaking capabilities. Nevertheless, with micro-drone clouds and hyperscanner technology acquired from former Covenant sources, UNSC Firebases can deploy a short-range sensor network that will reliably reveal enemies otherwise shrouded by cloaking generators and active camouflage. Once detected, their location can be shared to all friendly units for targeting. The base turret is a stationary weapons platform used by the United Nations Space Command, particularly deployed in UNSC Firebases. Automated weapons towers are installed around UNSC Firebases to deter attack. Most Firebase facilities have power and control hookups pre-arranged up to 4 turrets. The base towers used by the UNSC Spirit of Fire are relics of a defensive, in-depth tactical doctrine the UNSC was eventually forced to abandon as the Covenant War ground down humanity's armies and industrial centres. Siege turrets are long-range artillery systems built to counter enemy bombardment platforms that would otherwise be out of range for standard turrets, and occupy a turret slot. The UNSC learned the dangers of relying on fixed installations against enemies with orbital fire support early in the war against the Covenant. The modular Firebase system was developed in response to pinpoint Covenant targeting of large military command and control installations with orbital strikes, and the inability of standard counter-battery systems to detect, deflect or defeat plasma-based artillery bombardment. The siege turrets can do little against threats in orbital high ground, but they will deter enemy artillery systems by matching or exceeding their range, making ad hoc assaults on UNSC Firebases a costly proposition. Expeditionary Firebases are another type of lightweight Firebase module that can be delivered directly to the battlefield by a D-81 LRT Condor dropship, and were used notably in the Second Ark conflict. The modules then unpack and can assemble basic structures and UNSC weapon systems, protected by up to 4 turret emplacements. Upgrading the Firebase to a combat station allows basic infantry to be deployed, while the command center and headquarters expansions make additional units available. Each upgrade also opens additional build locations for support structures. The Spirit of Fire's Expeditionary Firebases trade a portion of the original Heron transported pod system's operational flexibility for substantial mass and resource saving. Unlike the older pod Firebases, additional pre-manufactured base structures must be transported to the Firebase rather than assembled on site, but this method saves irreplaceable strategic resources aboard the Spirit of Fire. The older pod bases remain in reserve, with the Heron dropships used exclusively for mass deployment of cargo and troops in secured rear areas. Like Firebases, there are 2 known variants of UNSC mini-bases employed, one resembling the pod Firebase design and the other resembling the 2559 era base. The latter mini-bases are deployed from Condors to opportunistic locations in operation zones. Each mini-base is built using stripped-down modules assembled and packed aboard the Spirit of Fire before being loaded onto a dropship for deployment. Mini-bases that survive a battle become unmanned sensor and communication relays in the ever-growing system of control nodes being extended across the Ark by Isabel and Captain Cutter. Mini-bases also serve as the core basis for UNSC Strongholds. Based on rapid deploy fortifications in the Wargames training simulation set up by Isabel, these bases are vitally important objectives that define the win conditions of the Stronghold training mode. Each Stronghold has infantry, air and vehicle support structures already attached. Each captured Stronghold increases population capacity, and the concept of Strongholds began in Wargames, but Isabel continues to run optimization routines on the design templates she uploaded to the Spirit of Fire's databanks. Isabel has gleaned many novel upgrades from the logs kept by the ship's previous AI Serena of the many prior engagements of the Spirit of Fire, leading the older Firebase emplacements widely thought to be redundant and no longer actually tactically useful, finding a newfound niche of operational capacity within the UNSC, especially since the Created has seized control of the galaxy, forcing humanity to resort to older strategies and uprooting their established colonies. Displacement of UNSC forces from military centres of power and needs to avoid areas the Created are actively policing means these upgraded Firebases will likely see a resurgence of their application in modern time warfare, something I am keenly interested in seeing. Thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below, I look forward to what you have to say. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons, so Tenchi, the Silent Cartographer, Brian, Sebastian, Red Sea, Darian and Neek, the Holders of the Mantle, Ty, Black Biscuit, J Rabbit, Austin, Kaiser, Silux, Reclaimer 216, The Revanche, Wolf Slim, and Andre, my Reclaimers, Zach, Deep Cover, Variable Statue, Spesico, Spartan A498, Guppy, Josh, Mickey, Bastian, Molchar, Slithery Tube Dude, Nightrise, Sierra G059, and Alfarius, my Metarchs, and all the other patrons that have jumped aboard to support the channel. You guys are awesome, and all of this wouldn't be possible without you. If you like Halo lore discussed to insane levels of detail, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're told the second a new video hits the shelves. Be sure to support us on all major social media channels, including Discord, and if you really love the channel, consider heading over to Patreon and supporting the channel over there. It would mean the world to me and would free up more of my time for me to put into this content and other Halo-related goodness. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.